Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, Chapter 201. When we last left our heroes, Ziggy revealed the extent of, the mothers he's collected, specifically showcasing the mothers of all the members of the crew of Edens, and reveals that he needs them because that Mother Ether he mentioned a couple chapters ago will take him to Mother, who he needs to kill because she's the source of all life, and he can't really kill all organic life without killing Mother. He also, as he goes to, warp Shiki away to their own little private battlefields, he drops the reveal that he knows about Planet Eater, meaning there is a spy in the ranks. I think it's Moscow. Connor is the obvious red herring. But yeah, we have a quick little battle with Shiki and Ziggy. Ziggy makes some comment about Shiki being outside the Wheel of Time, and then we cut back to 20,000 years later, from way back in Chapter 5, tying all of this in to that comment Zhao Mei said way back at the beginning of the series about how time doesn't really matter in this world. But yeah, the guys finding the wreckage of the Eden Zero find a life signal, which is something. I don't know what to do with that, but let's dive right on in Chapter 201, Melt. Our picture here is Holy in a Playboy bunny outfit. It's a whole thing. She's in bed. But we open not 20,000 years into the future, but back in the Mother Chamber. As Wise, Homura, and Rebecca are still sort of dealing with the fear, the emotions they're feeling. I don't know why I can't think of any words tonight. In response to Ziggy's revelations, Happy asks, "Hey, are you guys okay?" But Wise just tells him, "My mother died a long time ago, so this isn't much of a shock. It does freak me out that somebody dug her body up and put it right there in front of me." And Homura tells the group, "I never wish to see my mother again, but the fact that she is dead is hard to accept." And Pino then turns to Rebecca. "Miss Rebecca?" And Rebecca tells her, "In my first memories, I was already alone on Blue Garden. I don't remember anything about my parents. Did they abandon me or leave me as an orphan? Or was I kidnapped? I never knew, and as I got older, I decided not to think about it. But suddenly she's right here in front of me, and she's the archbishop of some church? Honestly, it makes no sense to me." Which, yeah, that's a lot to suddenly throw at a street orphan, that her mom is both a Galactica and a bishop. But okay. But Wise tells her, "Still, she's alive." Weird voice for Wise. "Still, she's alive." And Pino tells her, "Yes, there are life readings from her." And Homura tells the group, "Let us rescue Rebecca's mother and enact Operation Planet Eater." Rebecca reacts, "I can't do that. There are so many people here." And Happy just questions, "But I think they're all dead. Wise and Homura's mothers, and Jean and Clean's too." Which, maybe, Happy's comment, "I think they're all dead," might not be true. They only know that 4 of them are dead and 1 is alive. So even if you assume there that 1 in 5 are alive, that's a lot of people to kill with a Planet Eater. But Wise comments, "Yeah, if we could, I'd like to take her back and bury her on Norma soil." And Homura tells the group, "Then let us at least recover our own mothers. It will not be possible to collect them all." But Rebecca just, the notion of wiping out all of these people does not fill her with joy. But Pino gets to work. Let's rescue Miss Rebecca's mother first. But Rebecca tells them all, "Wait, I'm not ready for this." And Homura just snaps. Is not in the mood for Rebecca's, waffling. "We haven't the time to dawdle. Our friends are in the midst of battle." And Rebecca acknowledges that and tells her, "All right. But we don't have to wake her up right this instant. We'll use Warrior Maid 95 to recover as many as we can and take them to the Eden Zero. I can hear what my mother has to say after the battle." The group agrees to that. To still go through with Planet Eater, despite the fact that, Ziggy is well aware about Planet Eater, which makes the whole thing very suspicious, but okay. Homura nods, Wise gives her a yeah, and Happy also nods, and she stomps her foot down. "As soon as we're all ready." I will begin Operation Planet Eater. Though, again, the whole thing is very suspicious, Rebecca. Be a little cautious. But then we cut to the battle in the skies. Specifically the Eden Zero and Crow and that whole thing. As Hermit enters the bridge. Fuck, where are all my words tonight? I'm just so drained for some reason. As she just says she seems very tired right now. Sorry to keep you waiting. And Connor turns to her. You have disposed of the intruders, I assume. One self-destructed. The other is immobilized. We have him in a holding cell. A cell? Are you sure that'd be safe? And she just sits down very calmly again. His motive power cores are shut down. Don't worry. Sister's dealing with him. We need to interrogate him about Ziggy. How are things here? And Cleen tells her, the little guys surrounding him, we almost got all of them. That's a weird, sentence structure there, because it's not really a sentence that first half, but okay. And Jean then tells them all that's left is Dead End Crow. And we see Crow still just, grinning at them. And Connor tells the crew, we'll be firing the Eden Zero's main cannon at him. We'll wholly distract him with our night gear. And Cleen tells them all, the cannon's charge. It's at 70%. And Hermit now, that little bit of lethargy is kind of gone. She's back into serious mode. Frankly, I think 70% should be enough to blow him to smithereens. But Laguna pushes back, no. If we don't go all in, we'll be putting ourselves in more danger. And then Jean tells them all, when I fought him, I learned something. He absorbs energy. Okay, that's a bad sign. Because if they use their big old cannon, he'll just absorb that big old cannon. Shit! So only physical ammunition will work? No. Physical rounds are basically useless. His armor is too hard. And Cleen tells them all, the Eden's main cannon, Starbringer. It fires super high density pressurized ether. In other words, it fires energy rounds. Which means we don't even know if it will work at max power. But then Holy comes on the line. It will work. According to my calculations, if we fire the Eden Zero's main cannon at his core, we will destroy it. Okay, so after the whole traitor thing got revealed, there was some suspicion planted on Holy. That maybe she's been, we know she wants to betray Shiki in the end, and maybe all of this is a lie. Maybe her hatred of Crow is a lie. And the fact that she's telling them to fire their energy beam at the guy who absorbs energy beams is a dangerous game. Maybe she's right. Maybe if they hit the core directly, it'll be different. But it's still enough to make her a little suspicious. Hermit just questions his core. And then Holy smiles at them. And it's my job to uncover it for you. And she dashes at Crow and shoots him with lightning ether. Which doesn't do a whole lot. Crow just sort of mocks, huh? And Hermit yells at Holy. He absorbs energy, remember? But Holy tells her, I have to do this to locate his core. And we see the ether lines spreading across his body towards his core. It kind of reminds me of the Boro fight in Boruto, how the climax of that fight was Sarada hunting down the shifting core in Boro's body. And Holy notes the ether lines. I can see the flow of his ether. Fire ether! And she shoots the fire at Crow, but does very little. What is this insect? Stop flitting around. You're annoying me. And he goes to punch Holy. She barely gets out of the way. He slams his fist into the surface of Lendard, leading this giant explosion of mechanics that Holy, flies away from and then flies up to the air, hits him with ice ether. Crow just taunts, that's not going to work. But it seems like it has. It seems like she has tracked the ether line to his core as she thinks, I see it. And she fires a bunch of physical missiles at the core, seemingly having done some damage to get to the core. And Holy just grins, oh, how I have waited for this day. For the moment I can finally destroy you. Connecting ether link. Activating ether gear. Melt. Okay, so the title comes from her ether gear. And that little bit of damage, that little like missile hitting him, somehow gives her access to Crow with her ether gear, and he starts melting right where the core is. Whoa! And Holy tells the group, "Here's his core," and everyone reacts. Gene, part of his armor's fallen off, but Laguna corrects him. No, it's melting. And Cleen puts the pieces together. Holy's ether gear. That's what it does. And Connor questions, what be the charge on the cannon? And Hermit tells them all, 100%. We're ready to fire. And she then calls to Holy, Holy, retreat. And Holy's just like hanging out by the revealed core. I'm on my way. But she's caught. Oh shit. Okay. These little like wires extend from the hole and have grasped Holy's night gear, which could be a problem. Are they gonna blast Holy like this? Holy reacts, whoa, and Hermit lets out a Holy. And she's fully pulled into his body with like a little splash effect. A bloop is the actual effect as she goes in. And that zoom, I'm not sure if that's like Crow regenerating. I don't know. But whatever happens, he grins at what's just happened. He absorbed her? And Cleen questions, Holy, respond! Holy! And they do get a signal, as Cleen tells the crew, fire. Take me with him. And Connor, we get a cut to Connor. Coupled with Hermit's no, I think Connor might just give the order to fire. But Hermit tells her, if Shiki were here, he would never allow it. And then we cut back to 20,000 years later, all of a sudden. Okay. As the guys from earlier say, I confirmed the man is alive. The woman is dead. His partner asks, what do we do? What else? We recover our findings. I've never seen a human before in my life. Okay. So it seems like in this timeline, Ziggy wins. There are no humans. Okay. Why would a species that went extinct 20,000 years ago? Yeah, Ziggy wins. Our job is to find out. Now returning to base on the planet Eden. Okay. That's where we leave off. So let's talk about the planet Eden there. Or let's talk about this last page in general. Because unlike last time where it was just like, we're here and like we're dealing, we're back in the future again. We get a few things here that are important to note. One, the most obvious one, is that Ziggy wins. At least in the timeline that this scene is taking place, Ziggy wins this battle because 20,000 years from now, 20,000 years before 20,000 years from now, i.e. the present, Ziggy wins. Humanity goes extinct. And it's all mechanical life forms from here. But let's talk the planet Eden. Because that's clearly in the Sakura cosmos. And the obvious, historical reference there, or the obvious, literary reference there is the Garden of Eden, where in the Christian faith life sprung thousands and millions of years ago. We can discuss that, the validity of that statement all we want. But the point is, that's a clear, the Garden of Eden is presented as a paradise, and so there's simultaneously the sort of Edens of the ships, of Eden 0 and Eden's 1. But also without the S, the planet Eden is a very kind of, origin of mankind, of not of mankind, of bot kind. Might it be a reconstituted Grand Bell? Because Grand Bell kind of split apart as Ziggy reawakened. And so maybe he put it back together and made it like the seat of his throne? Because we know it's not Lendard, by the fact that it's the Sakura petals in space. So it has to be in the Sakura cosmos. It could very well be Grand Bell, having changed its name at some point. And it can almost see Ziggy's little irony there of, the world where machines were forced to serve humanity as the characters of a theme park is now the origin or the throne world of machine kind's rule. I can see the sort of pieces fitting together there. But yeah, that's the end of this chapter, with Ziggy winning and Planet Eden, which I'm sure we'll see more of going forward. I'm glad we got this last page. Like, the cliffhanger of the present day stuff is a little wonky. It doesn't really feel like a cliffhanger before we just cut to the future. But, like, I was really worried that we'd have to wait another 100+ chapters before we got any more info on the future. So it looks like maybe Mashima will be having, like, the last page of each chapter continue the storyline. I don't know. But let's talk about the present stuff, because that all is still going on. Even if the future gives some really bad vibes, we have plenty of stuff in the present. With just, like, the state of Rebecca as she's dealing with the fact that her mother is alive, and that her actions could kill any of the surviving mothers on Lendard. Or, like, not even kill them, but, like, erase their very souls from existence, because chronophages are fucked up. She does decide to go through with it in the end. She has a little crisis of confidence, and I think or crisis of conscience, more like. And I think she should have that crisis. I think that's a healthy crisis to have, especially when Ziggy knows what you're doing, and he's clearly baiting you into a trap. Especially because Ziggy has Wormhole. Like, I saw someone point out that, like, now that Ziggy knows, you know, the only way Planet Eater would work is if Ziggy didn't know in advance. Because with Wormhole, he can just warp away as soon as he knows the chronophage is coming. But I don't know. Because, like, also, it just seems dumb to, like, go through with it when you know there's a traitor in your midst. I don't know. We'll see exactly what comes of that later, though. But then we have the whole fight with Crow, and it's, you know, a nice bit of, like, I like a bit of strategy on Holy's part to find the core. It doesn't work. But it's a nice, like, it reminds me of that Boro fight. I really love the Boro fight. But, you know, it doesn't work, just like I don't think Planet Eater will work. Because she makes that hole, we learn what her ether gear is to make things melt, and it doesn't do much good, because now she's stuck there. I will say, though, it does not look like that he closed that hole, that Crow was able to heal. Because if he had, they would not be able to get to the core at all. You know, they couldn't take Holy out with Crow, because if that hole heals up, they can't really get to Crow. But we'll see about that. And there's some interesting parallels going on in these two scenes, right? You know, because we have in both of them one character, Holy and Homura, who are just like, we gotta do what we gotta do. If people die to stop Ziggy and or Crow, that sucks, but that has to be done. We have to do Planet Eater, we have to get rid of Crow. If these mothers die, if I die, that's the price I'm willing to pay. And in both of them we have two others who are opposed to that plan, at least initially. Rebecca opposes going through the Planet Eater when she knows there are all these potential victims, and Hermit refuses to fire the cannon. The difference is that Rebecca actually refuses, or Rebecca goes along with it. Hermit has not done that yet, but I think there's some interesting parallels there Mashima has crafted. I think we should keep on watching for as this arc goes on. But yeah, all in all, plenty of good stuff here. A really strong chapter. And, you know, that's before we get to a little bit of clarification on what the fuck is going on in the future. You know, we get some Holy action. We get Rebecca's little crisis of conscience. And then the future. And, like, I don't know, Eden Zero is always really good. It's really just fun to see this series, you know, go week to week, because it's so strong every week. With that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!